New Orleans tremble, is now the target of lawsuits, diss tracks, and secret exposes from every artist who ever trusted him. How does someone go from being a mentor, a father figure, and a business genius to the villain every rapper whispers about behind closed doors? Why are legends like Lil Wayne, Juvenile, and even NBA YoungBoy spilling tea that could shatter an empire? And what about the producers, the hot boys, the ghostwriters, those who claim they built the Cash Money sound only to be left empty-handed? Today, we're pulling back the velvet curtain, exposing the dirty secrets, the money missing, the promises broken, and the betrayals that make Hollywood scandals look like child's play. Are you ready to find out why Birdman, the king of Cash Money, might actually be the most feared and hated man in hip-hop history? Buckle up, because this story is about to get explosive. You think you know Birdman? You think the man behind Cash Money Records, the billionaire mogul who practically invented modern Southern hip-hop, is untouchable? Nah, fam. There's a reason every rapper from Lil Wayne to NBA YoungBoy has whispered, leaked, and straight up called him out. Behind the chains, the yachts, and the private jets, there's a web of betrayal, missed checks, and broken promises so dense it could choke the entire hip-hop industry. Let's start with the man himself, Brian Williams. Born and bred in New Orleans, Birdman's rise wasn't overnight. He was in the streets, making moves, hustling hard long before anyone outside of the city even knew his name. By the time Cash Money Records started dominating charts, this man wasn't just a label owner, he was a godfather, a street legend, a figure whose word could make careers or break lives. And yet, as glamorous as the lifestyle looked from the outside, the cracks were already there. Take Lil Wayne. Wayne wasn't just another artist. He was a kid from Hollygrove who Birdman allegedly took under his wing, signing him at the tender age of 11. Wayne even admitted publicly that his own mother was terrified for him to be involved with Birdman, that his mama knew the power and weight behind that name. And yet, years later, Wayne would describe himself as a prisoner under Birdman's control, a man whose creativity was stifled, whose albums were held hostage, whose advances were allegedly pocketed by the label while he built Cash Money into a multi-million-dollar empire. The Carter V? That album didn't just drop late. It symbolized a decade-long struggle between loyalty and money, between mentorship and manipulation. In 2014, Wayne went public, tweeting that he wanted off the label, that he was trapped. And the internet exploded. Fans couldn't believe that the same man who gave Wayne his start could be accused of such cold-blooded business betrayal. Lawsuits followed, $51 million claims, accusations that Birdman and Universal had misappropriated tens of millions of dollars. Then came the tour bus incident in Atlanta. Shots fired. Nobody hurt. But it sent a clear message. This beef wasn't just on paper, it was real life. Street level and terrifying, and it didn't stop there. Juvenile, another Cash Money legend, had already set the precedent years earlier. Quadruple platinum records, classics that still play at cookouts, songs that defined a generation, yet he claimed he wasn't seeing the money he earned. The contracts, he said, were so poorly structured that royalty checks wouldn't come for years. He took legal action, eventually settling, but not before publicly criticizing Birdman and Slim for enriching themselves while artists like him were left scrambling. Then you had BG, the man who gave the world bling bling, who along with Turk and Juvenile, helped Cash Money secure that massive $30 million Universal distribution deal in the late 90s, yet BG claimed he received nothing for contributions to roughly 80 records. The resentment festered. Even after prison stints, when Birdman greeted BG with a chain and allegedly $1 million, it didn't erase years of neglect, betrayal, and missed opportunities. And then there's Turk, whose story arguably makes BG's look tame. Discovered at 13, thrust into fame, nearly a decade in prison, and upon release, reportedly ignored by Birdman. No chain, no cash, no acknowledgement. Lawsuits filed, counter-lawsuits thrown, public jabs exchanged. The Hot Boys reunion? A disaster. Birdman publicly calling Turk out for being a security threat, when all he did was refuse a pay cut. Drama, chaos, betrayal, Manny Fresh. The genius producer who crafted the signature Cash Money sound adds yet another layer. Every hit from Back That Ass Up to Bling Bling, every anthem that defined late 90s Southern hip-hop carries his fingerprints. Yet, despite producing the backbone of the label's success, Manny left citing financial disputes and lack of credit. He's spoken openly about homeboy business, about how mixing friendship, family, and money can become toxic when there's no accountability. Birdman responded, lawsuits were filed and settled. But the lesson was clear: talent could be exploited even when loyalty was unwavering. Then there's Gilly the Kid claiming to have ghostwritten for Wayne, caught in disputes over recognition, publishing, and street-level credibility. Even when acknowledging Birdman's hustle, Gilly doesn't sugarcoat the betrayal, the fake smiles. The promises broken after years of blood, sweat, and bars. Public perception only escalated with figures like Pusha T and Rick Ross. Pusha T has openly criticized Cash Money's layered contract structures, alleging exploitation that stretches back decades. Ross, once close to Birdman, publicly shaded him after witnessing how Wayne was treated, releasing diss tracks and pointed social media messages, demanding accountability for producers and artists who built the empire. The narrative? Even those who admired Birdman, who respected his hustle and business mind, can't ignore the trail of alleged exploitation, the stories of financial mishandling, and the drama that has consistently followed the label. And let's not forget the newer generation. NBA YoungBoy, Tiger, and others experienced the same cycle. YoungBoy, hailed as the next Wayne, went public with claims of betrayal in his music, expressing frustration that Birdman never truly loved him beyond business interests. Tiger's album was allegedly held hostage. Royalties disputed, advances questioned, lawsuits filed and quietly dropped after complicated accounting disputes. Birdman's name, while synonymous with Southern hip-hop success, has become synonymous with tension, conflict, and controversy. Every new artist who steps under the Cash Money umbrella risks entering a minefield of legal battles, public drama, and emotional betrayal. And if you think this is only about money, think again. It's about loyalty. It's about power. It's about the public image of a man who once represented opportunity and now represents conflict. The drama isn't confined to the charts or the studio. It bleeds into social media, diss tracks, live performances, and even fan forums where threads explode with speculation, screenshots of leaked miss, and half-truths that somehow feel more real than the music itself. Every public reconciliation, every hug, every Instagram post is scrutinized. When Wayne finally hugged Birdman in public or YoungBoy performed alongside him again, the headline screamed, "Reunion!" But anyone paying attention knew the past couldn't be erased that easily. Every public display of forgiveness hides years of unpaid royalties, broken contracts, and a catalog of grievances that reads like a ledger of betrayal. This is the web Birdman has spun. On one hand, a visionary, a mentor, a mogul who created stars and amassed wealth. On the other, a lightning rod for anger, disappointment, and accusations from nearly every artist who's ever been under his wing. And what's most shocking is how consistent this pattern is. Decade after decade, from the Hot Boys to the Young Money roster, from producers to ghostwriters, the complaints are eerily familiar: withheld money, complicated contracts, lack of acknowledgement, and emotional manipulation disguised as mentorship. Each story adds another layer to the mythos of Birdman, not just a man who built an empire, but a man whose empire was built on controversy, rumor, and alleged exploitation. And it's not just the artists speaking out. Anonymous insiders have described lavish spending, jet-setting lifestyles funded by advances that were allegedly supposed to go to artists' royalties. Leaked internal accounting documents, of course. I can't show you the real ones, paint a picture of money moving in mysterious directions. Large sums disappearing from accounts earmarked for album production, marketing, or artist development. Imagine a ledger where millions meant for the very people who made the music vanish into private investments, luxury cars and jewelry. Fans see the Rolexes and yachts on Instagram, but behind the scenes, the artists are struggling to collect checks they earned years ago. By the time the internet started catching wind of these disputes, The drama became inevitable. Tweets, diss tracks, Instagram rants, Reddit threads blowing up, fans dissecting every lyric and emoji, every act scrutinized, every claim magnified. Birdman, meanwhile, maintains his stoic public image, always emphasizing numbers don't lie while the industry whispers. But people do? And in true cash money fashion, every reconciliation feels temporary. Every reconciliation feels temporary. A pause in the storm rather than the calm. A hug at Club Live, a cameo at a concert. A photo posted on Instagram enough to make the media eat up the moment. But nothing that truly resolves decades of conflict. And this is where the saga really grabs you. The pattern is undeniable. Whether it's Lil Wayne, Juvenile, BG, Turk, Manny Fresh, Gilly the Kid, Pusha T, Rick Ross, Tiger, or NBA Youngboy, the narrative repeats. Artists are taken under Birdman's wing, launched into superstardom, then left to wrestle with financial disputes, complicated contracts, and public betrayals. And every time the internet, fans, and media explode with speculation, memes, and outrage, making Cash Money a permanent fixture in hip-hop drama, not just for the music, but for the scandal. This is where we pause, because the storm isn't over. The accusations, the lawsuits, the diss tracks, and the betrayals are just the tip of the iceberg. Behind every public reconciliation lies a trail of broken promises, uncashed checks, and emotional scars. And trust me, once I dive into the leaked reports, the anonymous tips, and the shocking fan reactions that the media loves to ignore, you'll start to see why Birdman isn't just controversial, he's a lightning rod for drama. Hate, admiration, and everything in between, and that's where we pick up next. Peeling back the curtain on lavish lifestyles, secret disputes, and public reactions that no one wants to talk about, but everyone can't stop watching. So, let's talk about what really went down behind the scenes. You see, Birdman's empire wasn't built on